I think I'm a little over the recommended weight limit at about 230, and it's an absolute rip-off. Can you imagine being an 80-pound, 10-year-old kid on this thing? Holy shit. Power to rate ratio is insane. Want to go send it up back or no? What's happening, fellas? Second day of spring here, Rockville, Connecticut. Just got back from Daytona Bike Week. There's a whole shop full of bikes I can ride in there. And I chose to ride this one first for obvious reasons. This thing is absolutely freaking amazing. If you look up the definition of time capsule on Wikipedia, you're going to see this bike. This is 100% original except for the chain and the oils. The tires are original. The graphics are original. The seats are original. Actually, the grips are new too. So the chain and the grips are the only two items that I know of that are not original on this bike. This came from a New York City collector who switched over to collecting cars and wanted some extra money, so sold us the bike. This is a 4-year only model, 82, 83, 84, 85, and 86. This is an 84 model. It has the original factory decals on the swing arm in mint shape. There's been no touch-up paint put on this frame. You can see it has just a little bit of wear on the frame rail. It even has the original kickstand, which is absolutely unheard of. Original tires, you can see, are evenly worn. So it was ridden on grass, not on tar. And obviously has been a display piece for much of its life. So let's see if it's an 84, 94. So what was that, 37 years? 84, 94, 2014. Yeah, 37 years. Wow. It's almost 40 years old. Now, why is this so rare? Well, they didn't make that many of them to begin with, but mainly because young, rambunctious children like I would have been if I had this absolutely rode the freaking wheels off of these things and destroyed them and didn't maintain them. This one was not only maintained properly, but very rarely ridden. And it's been a museum, private museum display piece in New York City for many moons. And put it up on the stand here, and we can examine up closely some of the things I always recommend checking out. First of all, the front wheel is nice and straight. There's no dents or dings from hitting any rocks or anything like that. And it has the original IRC Supercross M2D on the front. The original fork lowers show no sign of any abuse from rocks or anything like that. The original front fender, original number plate, original handlebars are intact, as is the gas cap, and the original factory graphics are on there showing the patina of 37 years, but they are original and undamaged. The original seat has a nice shine on it. It has a little split in the seam back here, which could be repaired. I would not replace this. This is the original seat cover. The original fender, we originally thought that this was possibly modified, like a Ronnie Mack style, because it's short, but we looked it up. That's the original profile for that fender. So the original side covers are intact. The original pegs, the kicker's nice and crisp. This has had a bevy of services. Just because a bike has very low hours and it's 37 years old doesn't mean it doesn't need to have preventative and preservation services done to that. And we have gone through this whole motor. I'll grab the work order. Wizard spent nine and a half hours on it, and the detail shop spent I think 3.5. Let me just grab the work order so I don't misquote. But the first thing we did when we got the bike, Wizard did a compression test on it, pumping out a rock solid 180 psi, and that's why it was lifting in fourth gear coming up the hill without even pulling on the bars. So he changed the gear lube, removed the fuel tank, flushed that out, replaced the spark plug, set the tires, and confirmed these are in fact the front and rear are the original OEM tires. There is some checking on them and a little bit of cracking, as you'd expect for a 40-year-old knobby, but I wouldn't change them. This is proof perfect that they are original. He cleaned the carb, set it, adjusted it. Original chain was kind of crusty, so we put a brand new gold chain on it, adjusted the controls, went through everything, checked the kill switch and all the other systems on it. Added a gallon of VP22 premix VP non-ethanol fuel, adjusted and tightened the steering head, He actually rode it, test rode it, felt it was a little too lean, rejetted the carb. It's absolutely perfect. It richened it a little bit. He removed the clutch cover and the clutch, and actually replaced the crank seal. That's something that you after 37 years in a two-stroke, and that's not something you want to do at home unless you're an A-Tech. Replacing the crank seal is kind of a complicated thing, but Wizard's been doing it for 30 plus years. That's why we call him the Wizard. So it's got a new crank seal on it. Took the pipe off, cleaned the pipe inside and out, refilled the crankcase with new gear lube. After when he test rode it, that's when he determined the crank seal was bad because it was smoking a little too much. So he drained the oil again, replaced the gear oil again, rebuilt the petcock, and lubed and installed a brand new uni air filter. Replaced the front and rear brake shoes, and these are drum brakes, guys. These are not disc brakes, so even with the brand new brake pads on it, it doesn't stop like a disc brake bike for sure. But I like I said earlier, I can't imagine being a child with this thing at Southwick. A good, competent 10-year-old like Junior used to be on his KX65. He used to rip on those things. This thing would absolutely haul the mail. I think with the right rider, this could hold its own against the new 65s. It's 80% rider anyways, but as far as horsepower goes, I'd say it's on par with the new bikes. It's absolutely stout. So as far as the parts list go, not much. Just an air filter, a chain, brake shoes, gear lube, and a petcock rebuild kit. So as I had said, 9.5 hours in service. Ronnie spent 3 hours detailing it. Didn't do that much to it. Just steam cleaned it, degreased it, and polished the chrome a little bit. So again, they were told, do not paint the swing arm, do not paint the frame. This is the original factory paint. This thing's an absolute unicorn. We've been doing this for many, many moons. I've been doing this since I was 15. I'm 55, right? So 40 years. Very rarely, especially in the last couple decades, will you find a 60 in this kind of condition that's just been preserved. The exhaust pipe, if you look at the exhaust pipe, it is absolutely perfect. There's not a single ding on the two-stroke exhaust pipe. Take a look at the frame rails on it too. Lean her over. Frame rail is like it just came out of the box, brand new. In fact, the paint isn't even. Usually, the paint gets scraped off of it being on stands like it is right now. But they've used the kickstand. The bottom of the motor looks to be in brand new condition. If you look at the other side, and so does the engine case. You can see. If I was to estimate, I'd put total ride time on this bike at somewhere around. Well, with this rear tire like this, I would say it's got under 10 hours use since brand new. This is not a restored motorcycle. This is all original except for the items that I mentioned. The chrome on the rear wheel is still intact. It's got a little bit of patina on it, as you might expect from a 37-year-old motorcycle. But she's all there, guys. If you have any questions about it, give us a call. 860-454-7024. Kenny, you actually purchased this bike originally. Is there anything you'd like to add about it?
Yeah, guys, steel frame CRs can't be found like this. So even the later 90s bikes, we get steel frames with original paint frames. I'm like, oh, can't buy them fast enough. Few and far between for sure. So only made these for a couple of years. This one has been long anticipated. We posted a video of this like 2 months back, and she's finally going to be available. So Best Bid's going to take it, going to put it up on eBay with a low reserve, and good luck bidding, guys. Can't find them like this.
As you already know, thank you, Junior. As you already know, the New England Motorcycle Museum has been closed for the most part for about a year. We've been existing solely through the sales of motorcycles and donations. So this bike is being sold to raise funds for the museum. The museum is chock full of motorcycles. As much as I'd like to keep this one, we have to sell it to keep the lights on here. The state of Connecticut officially allowed museums to reopen on March 19th, which was 2 days ago. So we are open. If you want to come check the place out, it's a $10 donation to do the full tour. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Right now, we will have summer hours coming. August 1st is the 500 shootout, two-stroke shootout at the Southwick National Track. And the day before that, we're doing mini bike and motorcycle mania here with stunt riding, hill climbing, mini bikes, everything else. So stay tuned. Lots of good stuff coming on. And next week, SM21 going to Sand Mountain. So that should be awesome. If you have any questions, again, give us a call. Thanks for watching. God bless the United States of America.